This is part 2 of the bookcase series, and this is the model that I had created in part 1, and it's time to unwrap this and start texturing this. The only thing I've done is I've got some materials on here. I've got this for the glass, and all the wood pieces are under wood, and all of this stuff is under metal. And I think the way I'm going to approach this is I'm going to try it with the 3 materials instead of the UDIM method that I was talking about in my vlogs. We'll give it a try and we'll see how well it turns out this way. So each material will get its own UV. So all of the wood will be on one UV tile, all of the metal and all of the glass, each will have its own. So for example, if I come to the glass, this is all the glass there is. If I go into edit mode, this is mirrored, all right? So that's another way to save on UV space. If I just press U and unwrap, I'll get this, and there's really not much else that I can do with that. So the glass is pretty much done, so I'm going to hide that. Now inside are the books. I've labeled them. I'm going to hide those, and we're not going to include those for the time being. Let's come to the metal, and what I was thinking I would do for the metal is I'm going to come to here, and I'm going to just maybe slash key and focus on that. I'm going to come in. One thing I've done is I've changed the, when I applied the subdivision, it had that really weird pattern. You'd have to go back to the video to see it. So I've changed that to make that one solid end line. And I've also gotten rid of some extra edge loops, and I didn't do that here. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to come into, I think, this piece here, and I'm going to add a few seams manually. So I'm just going to take a couple of spots, and I think this will help with laying down the metal edges on this. I'm just going to go here and there. Let's try that. Control E, mark seam. Now this is mirrored to the other side as well. And I'm going to try just with this. Let me just select all of that. So I selected a bit. I went Control L. If I go U unwrap, I'll get this. And if I say Control I to get all of that, if I try Smart UV Project with an island margin of 0.003, okay, I will get that. So if I take the whole thing, I've got that so far. Slash key to bring that back. So that one is like done. So I'm going to press H to hide it. And if I come into these and just select them all, there's a mirror modifier on that as well. And I just want to check something here and make sure that's okay. Let's come into edit mode there. Okay. All right. I'm going to try Smart UV Project on that, and that will give me that. And so it's all jumbled up so far still. I'm going to come to this and this, come into that. That piece is mirrored. Smart UV Project for that. And so if I take all of the metal, which should be, oh yeah, we gotta want that. Let's bring that back. All right, so let's select all the metal stuff, that and that. If I come in, I have that. If I pack this now you can use Blender, you can go UV Pack Islands. I have another software program called UV Pack Master, and I'm just going to use that, and I'm going to pack there as well. Actually, I can have rotation enable on. That would do the metal. I'm going to hide that. So I've done the metal, hide the glass. Let's hide the books again. And that leaves me with the wood. And now to do this, let's try this. I've got a couple of seams in here. I'll show you. I've left them in, and I'm going to probably go with that. So I put a seam here, and then I've just come down and I've just cut it here and there. In particular, I added seams around these parts that protrude out, so these horizontal seams. All right, and I've also added a seam around the top there and around that edge, and that edge. So let's try this. If I select this now and go U, unwrap, I get this. I'm going to hide that. Let's come into this piece. I don't have any seams on this, so let's try Smart UV Project, and I'll get this. All right, let's hide that. That's mirrored to the other side. Let's do this piece here, which is that one and that one, mirrored. Come in, no seams. Let's try just unwrap for that one. All right, because it's just kind of like a solid piece. And hide that. This piece, that's just unwrap. Hide that. These pieces, it's just really like one piece that just comes like this down there, so it could just easily unwrap. There we go. Hide that. Now for this piece down here, I've done the same kind of a thing. All right, I put a seam right where I have the top on its own, and then I've just cut it. I had three, edges for my bevel, so I cut it in the middle, in the middle, and in the middle, and in the corners. So I'm going to unwrap that and hide that. And that just leaves me with the doors. There are no seams, but this is mirrored. And that's not always good for texturing, like if you want to have some different stuff on this one compared to that one. But what I'm doing, I think it'll be okay. So I'm just going to Smart UV Project that. And I get that. Now that's not the best unwrap for all of the pieces, but we're going to try it anyhow. So now slash key, nope. Alt H to bring that back. I'm going to hide the glass again, and the books and the metal, and I'm going to select everything. All right, that's everything there, and I'm going to pack that. Now some of these pieces will be rotated in the wrong way when I want to do the material. So this is the wood unwrap using the entire UV space, and if I'm just going to hide the books. All right, everything else I'm going to export, and this here is the unwrap for the metal, and it may not be that great, but we'll see. And you already saw the glass, so I'm going to select it all, save. I don't need the books right now. I'll do the glass and all of those parts. So I'm ready now to export this as an FBX and bring it into Substance Painter, and those UV maps will come with it and those materials. So let's do that. All right, there it is. Now let's have a look at this for any weird shadows or stripes. That will often indicate that your UVs are overlapping. I'm not seeing that, so I think I am ready to go. All right, so let's do the easy stuff first. Let's do the glass. Now, the glass I'm going to do, because I'm not showing the books yet, I'm just going to do a non-transparent glass like I've done in many videos. Let me turn this on. Look a little bit better with anti-aliasing. All right, just a dirty glass for the time being. So I'm going to come to Smart Materials, and I'm going to search for glass, and I've used this dirty glass many times before, and that's all I'm going to do. Just throw that on. That already looks very cool. So the glass is fine. For metals, I'm going to come in my Smart Materials, look for metal, and I'm going to choose a Smart Material. This Steel Dark Aged, I believe that comes with Substance Painter, and it looks really good as it is. So let's just look at this. I don't want to zoom in too close and be too finicky, because we're not going to see it up that close. But I mean, this is the kind of effect that I'm getting, and that was with a combination of Smart UV Project for most of it, and I manually added some seams. And what that did is it allowed putting the metal on these pieces and having these creases, so these dark spaces in the in the crevices, by putting seams there instead of sort of all one color. I find the seams helps to direct where to put the Smart Material. So I'm happy with that for the time being. Within the Smart Material is already a number of things. I could put a little bit of dirt on there if I wanted to. We could see if that does any benefit for us at all. So I'll add a fill layer, color and roughness. I'll drag the roughness up. I'll make this dark. I'll do a black mask, and I'll just do a dirt generator, and we'll just see if that's helpful in any way to us. It throws a bit of dirt underneath here. Let's look at it. Yes versus no. I think I would keep that though. So fine, we'll keep that. I don't really feel like doing anything else to that. I mean, if this was a prop, it would just look fine like that. The main thing I want to look at is the wood, and it's not going to be difficult either. I'll get rid of the default layer, and I'm going to type wood, and I'm going to use a wood that I used last time in my museum scene for ancient wisdom. I'm going to drag that in, and so I used this before for those cabinets, those display cases. I'm going to come down to here. I think it's this one. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think. Just want to look. Well, we'll talk about that wood in a moment. Not that one. Yeah, that one. I'm just going to reduce that to some extent. So, okay, right off the bat, it's not that bad. It's a little blurry here and there. I could change the colors, certainly, and possibly I will do that. Let's just see where the main one. Let's go into this gradient down here and just make this maybe a different brown and a darker brown like that. And let's see where the roughness is on this. Okay, let's start with that. What I want to look at is the direction that the grain is running on these. And I think I'm okay having the grain like this. I will up the resolution soon. We'll put some dirt on it, but I kind of want to have the grain running upwards on these panels. And as you can see, it goes upwards here. But on this side, it kind of goes sideways. So let's work on that. And in fact, maybe I want the grain to go upwards on the doors in general. So let's do the doors. All right, and at the very end, I'll switch it over here from 1024 to 2K. So let's come back to this and look at the wood here and come into the door. And there's no way I can just unwrap that. Not really. You can try cube project on some of these things. Let's try that and see what that's like. So let's. The books are hidden. Let's hide that. Let's hide the metal. And just take all of this. I cube projected that, and it's facing upwards. Let's just try with rotation enable pack. So it is a trial and error thing. I'm going to bring that back. I'm going to hide the books, select it all, save, export the FBX again. Come back to Substance Painter, project configuration, select. Make sure this is selected, the correct FBX. Okay, it'll come in and it'll look all weird. We have to bake the mesh maps again. So we'll do that, and it'll take 30 seconds or whatever. As it bakes, you can see the squares, and that'll give you an indication of how large what your texture resolution is going to be like. You know, that can be helpful for some visual information. Let's give it a second here, and we'll see. Now, the orientation still may be off. I just wanted to see if that was an okay way of. See, I mean, that's as far as I can tell, that's an okay way as well of doing it. Now, I don't have the grain going the right way, so let's work again on that. All right, and then yeah. All right, so let's go back to this. I want to come back to the door, and I'm just going to select it all. And I'm just going to rotate 90. And then I'll get rid of this stuff again. And that. And I'm going to take it all. And I've rotated it I want to pack it again, but I'm going to uncheck rotation enable so it won't change my rotation. Bring that stuff back, hide the books. Here we go again. Save and export. Back into Substance Painter, select. Sometimes it will have the wrong one. Do that, and we'll bake again. And it'll be back and forth that way for a little while till we get all the grain facing the right way. Or we can find it, change it all, and do it one time, I suppose. All right, let's have a look at that. So now the grain is all going upwards for the doors. I don't care about this piece that much. This piece is okay. Sometimes it'll have one going this way on the side and this way, but it all looks okay. And now it's just a question of these, what I want to do. And in the old computer games, they wouldn't care. It would be all over the place anyhow, but I think I would like to change that. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to select that, and I'm going to rotate 90 for that, and then I'm going to have to do this again. Now, of course, there's better ways to select just the stuff you want, but we'll do it this way for now. Okay, so I'm going to pack again without rotation enable, bring everything back, hide the books, select and save. Rinse and repeat, you know the drill. Okay, that's done. Now the grain is going upwards on that. And, you know, for the most part, I think it probably looks okay. Yeah. All right, well, let's go a little bit further with the material. Not much. Let's just put some dirt on it and up the resolution, and we'll see. I'm thinking about whether I want to put a pattern in there, which is what I said I was going to do. Let's make sure I'm on the wood. So I'm going to add another dirt layer here and do color and roughness. Bring the roughness up, and dark, black mask, and a dirt generator. And it'll just throw dirt especially on there. And so I'll just lighten that up. But it just gets into the crevices and just makes it look a little bit more worn. And, you know, we could do scratches maybe on this. Of course, this wood may not be your favorite wood, and you could try any of the other ones. Just keep in mind, if there is a definite wood grain, it may react differently to what we've just done, and it may not all be facing in the direction you want it to. So let's just, we'll just throw on some scratches and then we'll up the resolution. And that's really what I'm going to want to have shown you in this video. So what am I doing? I'm doing scratches. So I'm going to do color and height. I'm going to drop the height a bit. I'll leave the white color for now. Black mask, a fill, and in the grayscale, I'm going to search for scratches. There they are there, and that's obviously crazy. And it'll look different at 1024 as well. I'm going to up the contrast. I'm going to do a different one and change the width. Just little nicks out of it. And yeah, that's the problem with the mirror when it's there. They might look a little repetitive. Let's try that. Let's try that, but let's see what it's like without the color. You will barely see. Actually, sometimes I like to make that black. Yeah, it depends. See, almost don't see it, you know, that kind of thing. But I'm going to up the resolution. Let's go ahead and do that and see if that makes much of a change for us, if we like the effects. Okay, now you can see the scratches better, and they may be, well, I don't know, I don't mind it. Maybe even a little bit less. Just a couple of them. Yeah. to be wherever they are, they are. Let's change the, let's try just a couple of these. Yeah, okay, we're gonna stick with that. Okay. So, yeah, there is another thing that we could be doing here other than labeling. I'll put a few metal edges. I'm just going to choose a white color, a black mask, a generator, and the metal edge generator. And just drop this down. Okay, it's going pretty good on there. Just a little bit. Now, the way that I unwrapped is not doing great for the edges. And that's just part of it. So, you know, if you spend time unwrapping better, you can get a much better result on this. All right, I may have an error or a problem in there. Let's try a different one. Let's try curvature. I just want to have a closer look at this and see where my problem might be. I should really spend a bit more time on the unwrap. So how about what we'll do is we will use this as a learning experience, and you can see right here. Now I can paint over that. I should show you that sometime. And I'm not crazy about the scratches either, I think. I'm going to click random and just see what it does. But what we could do is I can go back in and unwrap it a little bit differently another time. And because we use a lot of Smart UV Project, and that may not be the best way to do it, or it might be fine for some pieces and not for others. All right, so you can see that because this is mirrored on both sides. So it's good that actually I use Cube Project. Let's go back and try Smart UV Project. All right, and let's use Smart UV Project on that piece there. And actually, I'm going to scale that down. I'm going to rotate 90, and then we will get all this stuff again. And we'll come back one last time because that's basically what I wanted to show you. Okay, so I'm going to select all of this, and I'm going to pack, and I'm not sure the orientation right now, so I may have changed some of that. I'm going to save it though and export it, and let's see. It could be that it didn't like the Cube Project. I may have done something that had something overlapping. I'm just going to go back to 1024 when I do this. So bring that in, cabinet part 2, okay, and bake. And then we can go back up to, yeah, we're already ready. We'll go back up to 2K, and we'll see. I just want to check this particular area here and see if I change the orientation. The other method, of course, was the UDIM method, and perhaps I will extend this series by a couple videos and have UV unwrapped it here with very little bit of manual unwrapping, mostly Smart UV Project, and upping the resolution to 2K and changing the orientation to get the grain the way we want, and even and seeing a problem. And maybe I can also do the UDIMs. So you see that's looking much better and is the right orientation. So now let's bump that back up. And by the way, you can do that on each layer. And I may have actually been on the glass when I did it. I'm not sure. There's the wood again. Okay. So you can change the resolution on each particular material. I don't really feel the need to change it on the metal or on the glass. Just on the wood. And that is the case with the wood. No, I would have done the wood for sure because of the scratches. Okay, so yeah, I may want to do this in another method using the Udums, but that's what we get, all right, for our prop. And I'm just curious to show you if I was to hide that and grab a different metal, just real quick. Let's try this one. I said metal, I meant wood. How it would react. So let's have a look at this. All right, if you were just creating a prop for a game or something, you needed a spooky kind of old thing. I mean, that looks fine to me. And let's just keep that going. Let's try this stylized wood. A lot of scratches on there. All right, so you can very quickly change it. Now, of course, having it mirrored with this kind of damage doesn't necessarily work. There's another one that I made for a door. See how that works on there. All right, you can see the grain is different on this one. And it doesn't do very nicely there. So we're not going to use that one. I'll just do one more. What's this? And why did it go only on there? Well, that went on there because I have a mask. Let's see if I remove that. That's an interesting wood too in terms of changing the direction of the grain. You know, it's all going this way pretty much, except for this piece was just going up. And you know, the quality is not that great, but it's not bad if it's just standing there. You know, we could try the Udim method. How about we do this? I'm going to go back to my original, and in the next video I will try maybe the Udim method, and we'll put a pattern on there, and we'll have a look maybe at the books. On the other hand, I could leave the glass like that and not worry about the interior, but we'll think about that. I might want to work on the interior, which is going to mean I'm going to have to put some lights in there, and I don't generally like to just put lights unless I have the light device, the actual physical light, if there's any chance you would see it. But if the angle is such that it doesn't matter, we could just throw some point lights in there or whatever. All right, well, I'm certainly not going to leave it at this color, but we'll come back and we'll have another look at unwrapping this and maybe doing the pattern, and we'll go back to that old wood. All right, thanks for watching, and see you next time.